Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Special Finance Committee meeting of the Troy City Council. Today is July 11th, and I would ask that you please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Councilmember Keel.
Present.
Councilmember Brosnan.
Here.
Councilmember McLaren.
Present.
Councilmember Vera.
Present.
Councilmember Soriento. Here. Councilmember Casey.
Present.
And Council President Steele also present. All present and accounted for. We will begin. I'll just run through briefly our presentation of the agenda. We have one local law that's being introduced this evening, not for action. We have 5 ordinances and 5 resolutions. No, I was just about to say, we're moving into the public forum. I wanted folks to know what was actually on the agenda. The public forum at committee meetings is, according to the rules, is for any item on the agenda. So anyone who wishes to speak on any of those items that I mentioned as part of the agenda are welcome to do so now. I believe we had a sign-up sheet in the back. Sarah, would you be able to retrieve that for us? That might give us some order to our comments. It can be. And I will certainly not adhere only to the sign-up sheet. I'll offer anyone else an opportunity to speak who may not have had an opportunity to sign up. We're fairly flexible here. Yes, I would like to. Thank you for your patience, everyone. Thank you. First person who signed up is Peggy Konak.
Thank you very much, Sarah. Good evening. I'm Peggy Konak. I reside in Lansingburg. I bought my home because I love Troy. I am here to speak about the first thing on the list, the local law. And I understand it's just being introduced tonight. I want to make sure everyone that is sitting on the council understands the history of why we have a commission as opposed to a board. The commission was put in place as part of the comprehensive plan in 2012. I served as a neighborhood representative on that comprehensive plan. Chapter 71 was voted as part of the charter when the citizens of Troy voted to change the charter. Ergo, it had citizen support. It was put into place to stop political appointment of unqualified individuals on public commissions. It established new professionals that on said commissions. Our current slate of commissioners based upon my research, it's an excellent slate of commissioners. Political party aside, their qualifications alone means that what's in the best interest of Troy, for its taxpayers, and for its resident citizens, are being served properly. If certain laws are being applied, certain codes, i.e. building codes, are being followed. We need a professional planning commission. We don't need a politically appointed or understand planning commission. And where I stand from, I don't know, for those of you who may not know, I've been politically active 50 years, starting when I was 12 years old, because I was a girl. So I'm an old hat at this in this city. I've seen them come and go. In chapter 71, and replacing it with a politically motivated chapter 72 for the citizens of Troy really not to get the opportunity to further change. That's all.
Thank you, Peggy. Suzanne Spellin?
Council members, city officials, fellow Trojans, and Madam Mayor.
Suzanne, you need to really speak into the mic.
118. That's the number of projects that have come before the Planning Commission in the last 3 years. Out of that number, 118 of them were approved. None were rejected. 20 were type 1 actions, which for the layman means pretty complicated projects that need special environmental, historical, engineering, and other reviews. Those 118 projects included dozens of small housing or commercial projects in every neighborhood in Troy. They include new construction, renovation of existing properties, and changes of use to others. They also included some larger projects that impact the city's need for housing, low-income housing, affordable housing, and market rate housing. They include new construction, both apartment buildings, single and multifamily urban and suburban housing, and factory and school conversions into even more housing. Here's a short list of only a portion of the larger and more well-known projects that have gone through the site plan approval process of our current planning commission, of which I am a member. You may recall some of these. In housing, former Troy High School, former Troy Catholic High School, St. Augustine School, Taylor 1 Apartments, Kings Landing 2, Standard Manufacturing Building, Cannon Building, William Building, City Station 2, 118 5th Street, YWCA Housing, Senior Housing in the Flanagan Square Building, 1776 6th Avenue, the old Verizon Building, Habitat Houses on River Street, multi-building houses for Trip and Unity House all over the city, Country Gardens Apartments, and One Monument Square. Other projects include the WellCare Medical Office, Capitol Roots New Build, the Emma Willard School Art Building, the American Theater renovation, the Energy Catalyst Geothermal Company, the cocktail bar in the Kokopelli Building, and at least 2 self-storage facilities. A multitude of convenience stores, restaurants, small businesses, offices, medical facilities, pavilions for RPI student activities, and lastly but not least, the bargain grocery. Over 1,000 units of housing, some completed, some under construction, some projects on hold, some low income, some seniors, and affordable, and some market rate. Some are popular with people, some are very much not. Some sailed through, others took a while, but they all came out as better projects because of it. This is not a commission that is, quote, dysfunctional. Whether we personally liked the projects or not, if they fulfilled the requirements of Troy's zoning, code, laws, and comprehensive plan, we passed them, as evidenced by our record. Our job is not to rush to judgment, but to consider each project from multiple angles, to ask questions and make suggestions. Because the projects we approve will be on the streets of Troy long after we are gone, we want the best for the city we all love. We are not preventing new development, we are not preventing affordable or any other kind of housing, and we are not discouraging new businesses. Are we perfect? Of course not. And we all are in need of some improvement, and we'd like to continue to do so. Thank you.
Thank you, Suzanne. Sarah Wenger.
Good evening. My name is Sarah Wingert. I reside at 54 Brunswick Road. I am a current planning commissioner. I am also a registered architect and business owner. And I would like to share with you quickly a fact, an observation, and an opinion. The fact is that this planning commission, in my 7.5 years, has received 0 formal onboarding training from the city of Troy. All training is acquired from outside sources, resources, and former commissioners such as Councilman Vera, who have done an excellent job preparing us for this difficult job and task within the parameters of their appointment. That's the fact. The observation is that as an architect, I, along with all of my professional colleagues, present proposals throughout the Capital District and beyond, and are faced with incredibly rigorous planning commissions. Typically, those applications are processed over the course of 3 to 6 months. If anything, the Planning Commission in Troy, New York, accelerates, demonstrates great efficiency and reason to the proposals that we receive. My opinion is, and this comes from my experience as a leader of a professional practice, is that to get the best out of employees, an employer offers constructive criticism that is consistent and timely, and also offers positive feedback for a job well done. And the administration that is in place at this time has offered neither of those things to the Planning Commission over the course of 6.5 months. That's all I wanted to share with you. Thank you.
Thank you, Sarah. James Rath.
Hey there, my name is James Rath. I live at 398 Williams Street, the record in the Osgood neighborhood in South Troy. I have been on the Planning Commission since July of 2022. Like Sarah, I also have an applicable professional background, transportation planning and land use planning. I wanted to start out by addressing the memo from the Corporation Council regarding the legislation to repeal the Planning Commission and replace it with the Planning Board. It seems to me like either there's some confusion or maybe intentional misrepresentation in that memo. The Corporation Counsel in there states that it is, let's see, stating the Planning Commission may confirm that a proposed house complies with the setback requirements of our local law, but they may not decline to approve plans for a house that is not aesthetically pleasing for the individual board members. As Suzanne pointed out earlier, we have not defined or voted down any project because of certain reasons. Also, it seems like the staff does a great job of understanding whether or not it complies with setback requirements. So I find that comment to be very odd. And again, I think it's a mischaracterization. Also, Chapter 285 also clearly states that we do have the role to consider whether or not a project has a negative impact on the neighborhood, if it is mispleasing to the eye, whether it's going to impact neighborhood property values, and a whole list of other things, including types of street trees, transportation infrastructure, landscaping, impact special use permits have on the nature and character of neighborhoods. The memo also discusses attendance, which as a member who has missed a couple of recent meetings, I feel like I should address directly. While I strive to make every meeting, I have been absent for 4 out of the past 22 meetings since my appointment. When I'm absent, and it seems like when any of my fellow planning commissioners are absent, we do take time to review the agenda beforehand and provide comments to our fellow commissioners and staff so that they can still make decisions based on our expertise during the meeting. I think the statement that that come in and represent projects often know us quite well. Potentially not as well as the planning, the city council or maybe the administration, but I think they get the sense of the things that we're looking to do. The last paragraph of the memo, Suzanne addressed quite nicely. To me, it seems really ridiculous and doesn't even deserve being addressed. But I do want to just quickly pivot to a couple of odd methods of communication or form of communication that I've received this past week. I did get an email from Kitty Carley, the mayor's confidential assistant, yesterday saying, "Good afternoon, Mayor Mantello." This is quote, "Good afternoon, Mayor Mantello and Deputy Donnelly and the administration are always available to discuss any issues and have been for the past 6 months. Thank you." We have not heard from them at all, as Sarah pointed out. For the past 6 months, there's been no official or unofficial communication, at least to me, about our merit, our decision making, our attendance, or anything like that. So I did respond and stated that I am also available and have been available for the past 6 months, and that I also did reach out 4 times over the past 6 months via call, email, and in person, and have been assured that we would get when it was in person only is the only time I actually spoke to anybody. And I was assured that we would set up a meeting and discuss things, but I still have not heard back since. I responded to that email yesterday. Kitty said, go look at the calendar and set something up. Still haven't heard back. So, I do think that we are doing our part. We're obviously available. We don't see members of the administration at our meetings. We don't talk to them afterwards. The only communication we really have is with staff, who does a great job, but is obviously under-resourced, and then with the Corporation Counsel in those meetings as well. The last thing I wanted to point out is that I also received an email today from Council Member Bill Keel, who said, "I'm very likely to support the change," and I quote, "because a new administration requires new people with similar vision. If there are any candidates who have been on the Planning Commission and will
shall meet for 2 members of Parliament. Starting to develop. From the whole. Multiple stages of review. So here. So open. Goes up what? Order. That's what. Aesthetics of the market come up. Troy, don't strip us of the expression. Look down the street and stare at the picture and say to yourself, how the heck did that happen? You have a planet. Stand up. This sort of inappropriate.